everybody, and welcome back to the Matthew Schreiner podcast. Over the weekend, and that's last weekend, they announced they're a parish, and before that, I received an email from my parish asking from the Catholic Conference of Illinois, which is like the USCCB for the state of Illinois, asking for Catholics of Illinois to write in to Governor J.B. Pritzker concerning a bill on his desk that concerns assisted suicide. For those of you unfamiliar with the song I Am a Bill, an unofficial part of the American education system, or for that fact the U.S. legal system, in the federal government, approval from the president is the last step of a bill's journey into becoming a law. This is the same in the states, so this law is one step away from, or this bill is one step away from becoming law. Meaning that if Governor J.B. Pritzker vetoes it, it will not become law, and if he passes it, it will become law. So, why is this response to the law? Our priest gave a look at this. He himself wrote in to the governor, as well as I did. He invited all the parishioners to do likewise, inciting them with the Eucharist that we have all just received, inviting us to go into the world and live out our Eucharistic faith, which I think was a great incitement of the people at the Mass that day, and I hope many of them wrote to the governor, though I do not think this truly will change his mind, though I pray it does. So why is the Church so much against this? In part logically and not just philosophically or morally, though mostly the second, in every place that these such laws have been approved, it has been used to attack the poor and vulnerable. In cases where life-saving medicine may have been given, assisted suicide was pushed. In this way, it treats human life, especially that of the most poor and vulnerable, as something to be thrown away, as a waste product, that they matter less because of illness. Second, part of Catholic teaching is that human life is a gift from God. God is the giver and taker of each life. This is the same reason that murder is wrong. Life is in the hands of God and not of man. That is the life of oneself and the life of each and every other human being. This is why Catholics are against abortion, since it is the unjust taking of innocent life. However, something like capital punishment could be justified, since it is not the unjust taking of innocent life. However, we consider nowadays that there are better punishments than capital punishment. The Church holds that all life is precious and must be cared for. Even the most poor and vulnerable have value and deserve care. As I mentioned before, this sets Catholics apart from so many others in the world, especially of other faiths. I discussed this previously. Care for the poor has been an intrinsic part of the Catholic faith. To see Christ wounded in our brothers and sisters who are wounded both mentally and physically is to see Christ as he is himself described, that we care for the least of the brethren, and that we help him, as he has said before. Don't be mistaken, however. The gospel is not a matter of social justice or of a pop culture that welcomes anyone with open borders. Rather, the Church calls us to view others first and foremost with compassion, viewing in each and every lowly Christ himself. If we lose this view that the lowly are Christ, and we lose the faith that inspires us to do these works, as I mentioned before, mentioning Brian Holsworth's video, we boil the gospel down to merely deepities that only serve to help our social justice agenda. The Church also invites us to see the value of each and every human, created in the image of God and formed in the womb by God. Each person bears witness to its creator. Each creature is not only a member of the human family, both scientifically or biologically, but also spiritually. We are called to all be brothers and sisters. We are all created by God and made for grander things. Because of this, we must not only care physically for the needs of our fellow man, but also invite them to grow deeper spiritually, calling each and every man into conversion and into the Church. As one might care for the physical needs of a man by giving him food or medicine, one must also seek to lead them into the faith. This case here in Illinois shows us one thing. Yes, there is such a thing as a separation of church and state. However, it is only to keep the state from having too much control over religion. This has not kept things from being religious. Oaths in court and in the military are sworn before God. In places like England and other monarchies claim to derive their power from God. In this case as well, the faiths and consciences of members of Congress and the government, as well as citizens and constituents in America, should guide the laws. The principles of religion and philosophy guided the men who founded this country. Jefferson, in writing the Declaration of Independence, said that God has given to men inalienable rights. We as Catholics should stand up for our beliefs, not allowing ourselves to be beaten down. More than that, we must be willing to care for the lowly the lowliest of our brothers and sisters, not allowing them to be beaten down. Laws such as this in Illinois seek to harm the vulnerable, and we as Catholics and thinking men and women cannot allow this to stand. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Doing so helps us to spread this Catholic and Christian message to all. Please also consider supporting this channel on Patreon.